flowers bloom in spring. Tell me who gives the air that you breathe. Ooh. Everything that you need he will provide, so you may as well come on and give him a try. 'Cause he's awesome. Ooh, he's awesome. He's awesome. What would I do without him? Couldn't even do without him. I don't wanna be without him. He's awesome.
What's up, ladies? Welcome to ZMR Ministries. I'm Pastor Z. It's Friday, so you know it's time for another episode of Girls Talk. Now, tonight's episode is called I'm Not a Monster. We're going to be talking about your reputation. We're going to be talking about your character. And we're going to be talking about guarding your name. Now, we all have been in situations, where our character was questioned, our reputation, probably wasn't the best, and then our name was getting dragged through the mud. So we're going to talk about how we have to, really show people I'm not a monster, I'm really a good person. Now, of course, y'all know on Friday nights, we're going to do all the extra talk. We just dive in. I got my girl Marilyn. I got Simone. I got Bridget. And, of course, me. So, y'all, let's dive right in. First of all, let's talk about character. Who want to define character for me?
Well,
all right.
I think character is basically who you are. It describes your, in a sense to me, like your standards,
right? Exactly.
How the gauge the temperature of your attitude, and different things of that such. Because some people say, well, that's really out of her character,
right?
So it's kind of the way that people see you, in the way that they know you're gonna react, and how they know you'll behave.
Exactly.
Did anyone of y'all want to add to that?
And I was thinking about sometimes we can have a spiritual character and then we have our natural character.
Yeah.
Because our spiritual character, we're always on point generally. But our natural character, that's when sometimes people can see it like it really isn't.
Yeah.
You can really be a nice person and people can see you in a different light.
And misjudging.
Exactly.
And you know what? One thing about character, which I'm gonna say that in just a second because I wanna jump into reputation. So what about reputation, Amon? I call it Amon and Simone, but what do you think reputation is, Simone?
I would think a reputation is something that you're known for.
Yeah.
So, if somebody's known to, she's a fighter because of what you display, you have that reputation of that's a fighter.
Right.
So it's pretty much what you put out, that is your reputation.
And I think it has to do with habitual behavior.
Exactly.
Because, and then to it could just be a one-time incident, which is why I wanted us to talk about reputation, before I said what I was going to say about character. Because, sometimes your character could be built on one incident.
Exactly.
And then you have a reputation for that. And your character can be something totally different and somebody catches you in a moment. And then all of a sudden you have a reputation for that. And then, of course, that brings in the question of your name. And guarding your name and making sure your name is integral. I know growing up, my dad used to say, sweetheart, word is bond and your name is all you got. When you don't have nothing else, you have your name. And so it's like with your name is attached to your character, is attached to your reputation. But sometimes we know all of those can be broken up. Have y'all ever gone through, something where your character was challenged or, it was still being developed and people already had, this, picture of you? And the reason why I said I'm not a monster is because I know sometimes we can have hard shells. Bridget is a little sweeter, but I know with us, we got some hard shells, right? And I ain't saying, you whack or a punk. That ain't what we saying. Bridget's just more sweeter, right? But sometimes we can have a hard shell. And Marilyn is quiet, so is Simone. And they are really sweet. They're not as outgoing. They're not going to be very talkative. And so sometimes they get the bad rep. That they this horrible person. And so when I say I'm not a monster, it's like, okay, I I may have a reputation for being this way. Oh, she mean, she quiet, she antisocial, she this, but her character is something totally different. And I think character is more personal.
Exactly.
You know, to really truly know somebody's character, you have to know them.
You have to be aware.
A reputation is just something that's on display.
Yes.
Right. And so
A reputation too is based sometimes off of what other people have said.
Right,
It
right.
has nothing to do with your character.
Yeah,
It has nothing to do with you. A lot of that is opinionated.
And so I wanted to talk about that because sometimes, you know, we can have a face, you know, to society or to people, and they never get to know the true character of who we are. And our name is at jeopardy because of that, and our reputation is at jeopardy because of that. And we understand if you have a bad reputation, what's the saying? First impression, last impression. And so, you know, as we know, that's not all the time true, right? You know, but of course, we as humans, we see something, or I meet Simone one time, and it's like she rolled her eyes, and I'm like, I don't like her. She got an attitude problem, which she probably was just not feeling well. She just got some bad news, and she like, everybody here happy. I don't want to be happy right now, and so it's like I've already judged her character.
Exactly.
And told other people she mean, and they probably had the same experience. So now she has a reputation of being mean, which is not her character at all.
Exactly.
So what I want to ask is, when are some times that you know your character was in question because of a reputation that went before you, or a misrepresentation of who you are?
Well, I am very much an introvert.
Right.
And so sometimes people take that as I'm stuck up. You know, she's supposed to be a pastor, and because I'm not gonna come. I'm generally in a crowd of people. I'm gonna sit in the back.
Right.
When my husband and I go into church and he's preaching, I'm gonna sit in the back. And I'm not gonna say anything to anybody. And it's not that I'm stuck up or I have I'm an introvert.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And some people aren't okay with that because of our positions. They feel like, oh, she's a pastor. She's supposed to always be like, hey, how you doing? You know, and that's not my character. That's not who I am. And I've long since, because of my age, stopped playing the role. I used to try to play the role. Oh, I'm an extrovert. Hey, I'm not doing that anymore.
Why she do the jazz hands? Hey.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna do that anymore. I'm a true introvert. I like being by myself.
Yeah.
And if I don't talk to you, it has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Right.
It's I'm an introvert. And I like, there you go. And I like myself. And I like being by myself.
Yeah.
But sometimes people get that twisted and they go, oh, she's stuck up. Because my husband is totally opposite.
Right.
He has to be seen. He wants to walk in the church late so everybody can go, hey. And I'm walking behind him like, where's the first chair?
Right. I'm gonna sit in the best of you. Yeah, that's an old word in the life.
Right. And they come back and they're like, come on, Miss Woodard, you want? That's okay. I'm good back here.
Right.
So people take that like she's stuck up. She thinks she's better than. You know, they take it.
She's
totally
standoffish.
Yeah. Totally opposite. You know, of who I really am.
Right.
I really am a friendly person, and I really will help you, and I really will talk to you, but one-on-one. You'll never see me in a crowd in a big party, and I'm up there, you know, getting down. Never. I'm gonna be over there against the wall.
Right.
You know. And somebody come over and talk to me. One person come talk to me, and I'm gonna talk to that one person, and that's who I am.
Yeah, she's typically the person in the room where you see her over there, and you like, is your friend okay? You know, are they enjoying themselves? And you like, oh no, she doing it for real. You know what I'm saying? Because you just know how they are. What about you, Mom?
I think we have these same personalities. I am more quiet, laid back. I observe. You know, I'm good just relaxing. I can't stand crowds. I cannot stand big crowds. I want at least 1 or 2 people, and we're okay. And I feel like, you know, me and her, we're opposite. Like she know everybody. She got all these friends. She gonna call, I'm going to such and such. We out here, we going to this club. And I'll be like, no. I'll be like, I'm here by myself. I'm watching a movie. I'm going to bed. I'm good. I'm good with that. Now I can't say some of the people that she has met from my old job, they have told her that I am crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
No.
yeah,
Absolutely not.
no,
Never.
exactly. But really, you know, I am actually not. No, why are you looking like that?
Like what?
Put your face turned.
What do you mean?
Anyways, so yeah, so but yeah, I think just because, like you said, certain situations you have to, you know, react differently. People get a impression of, oh, this person is this person is mean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've had a lot of people tell me I was mean at work. You never sat down and talked to me one-on-one.
Exactly.
So it's like, you don't know. I'm just here doing work and I'm going home.
She can be a little mean.
I actually, my guy that I work with, the guy that I work with, we actually did not like each other before we first started working with each other. And he said when he saw me and I would show up to stuff, he would be like, "Here comes this old stuck-up girl. She don't ever talk to nobody. She just here. She don't ever say hi to nobody. Who is she?" And he was like, you know, I would come into the office and, you know, I would just sit there on my computer and he was like, you know, I walk by. You can't even say hi when I walk by. And I'm just like, who are you for me to even speak to? I'm here on my computer. But he took it as, because I wasn't like, hi, how are you? Good morning. It was something wrong with me, or I was mean. And once we actually started talking to each other, like, we became the best of friends. And he even told, he was like, I didn't like you, man. I hated you. And I was like, for what? You don't even know me.
Right.
But it was just what he saw of me. He just assumed I was a mean person. So I was like, whatever.
Well, I know with me, I get a bad rep, right? I do have RBF. So if you ever, you know, meet me, my face, you know, may not be as friendly. But I am a friendly person. I think some people, I'm very outgoing, but I'm very much an introverted extrovert. You know, I like talking to people. I am a people person. However, I'm very limited with my people personally. However, I want to say, I'm making that word up, but I'm very limited with that. And so I think because people see me crack jokes or, you know, I'm tripping out with people, that they expect that at all times. And don't expect it all times. Because sometimes that introverted part of me is, I don't want to fool with nobody today. And I make it very well known. You know what I'm saying? I will speak, I smile, I'll be like, hey, how you doing? And, you know, and then some people just want more out of you that you're not willing to give at the moment. And so, you know, what'll happen is they'll label you. You know, like, she ain't as friendly as y'all think. She got an attitude problem. Da, da, da. No, I told you I don't feel like talking. You know, it's not a good day. And you're still trying to draw this out of me. And then when I tell you, get out of my face, you know, then I'm a horrible person. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, you know, when it comes to my reputation, a lot of people just have it wrong. Now, I ain't saying that they may be telling y'all she was rude to me. I probably was. But it's like, let's get the backstory, you know, before you just say I was rude, because I'm not a rude person at all. Like I said, I'm very much so a people person. You know, I am the person probably with Bridget, like, hey, how you doing? You know, what's up? Da da da. But I can also be that person that's just like, I don't feel like talking to nobody. Go ahead, Bridget. You know, this my friend Sonya, hey. You know, and it's like people expect more out of me, and it's just sometimes I'm human. I don't want to be on all the time. So, you know, my character gets a punch. You know, a jab, jab, 1, 2, uppercut, plop, 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 plop. Sometimes, you know. And it's like, it has absolutely nothing to do with my character. And so I think sometimes people group reputation and character together, and they're two totally different things. What about you, Bridget?
I am more of an extrovert. Kind of going out very friendly, But what I have been finding lately, I'm becoming more introvert on some things.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I'm learning boundaries. So I don't feel obligated to be as friendly, and if I'm not feeling people today, then I don't feel obligated to have to feel people.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, okay, I gotta show up, and I gotta be happy when I'm really tired, but it's okay now. I'll be like, I'm not going. But I can think of one time when I first started playing ball.
Yeah.
I really do. A lot of times I do sit back and take a look at stuff, take a look at people. I'm watching before I'm fully just open. And though I'm very friendly, I'm not disclosing all of my information. I'm just friendly. So I was sitting back and looking, and I did not say much or anything else. And I found out later that everybody out there thought that I thought I was bougie. I was stuck up. I'm just some old suburban chick that think she better than everybody else out here. And I was just like, what? And then they were like, you're unapproachable. I was like, me? They were like, yes, your face was like, don't talk to me. And I was like, where are y'all getting that from? I'm not even that at all. They were saying it wasn't until like some weeks later where I started joking with them and talking and everything else. And they were like, she really isn't like that. And I was just like, I don't know y'all. Why would I just, you know, out of the bed come out here like, hey everybody, then I wouldn't be too friendly. They were like, oh, she fake. You know, but for me, I have changed, and it has been a process to where now I understand, though my personality and my character is an extrovert, but I have found balance for myself and kind of figuring out if I really feel like going out, then I'm gonna go. And if I know that I'm not, but that my character is still more of an extrovert.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting, I guess, for me is, you know, being a prophet, and Marilyn's a prophet too, you're always observing. Like, you know, and I know it seems weird because some people be like, all the guys ain't speaking to you 24/7. But there are some times when you just in a room and you looking, and it's like, you know, you hearing things, you know, and it's just like, man, you're seeing things, you're discerning things, and it's like, you know, people, I get this often, why are you staring at me? Oh, I'm sorry. I know what I see. Bridget talking about premonitions. But you know, there have been so many times I've been in a room, like group settings, a get together, and you know, I'm not the extrovert sometimes. That introvert in me, which is hard for people to believe. They're just like, I just don't see an introvert in you, and I'm like, baby, trust me, it's there. It's there. You know, during this whole time of quarantine, some people was like, Zanya, oh my God, I know you are going crazy. I'm like, no. I mean, it was like the perfect time for me because I'm a homebody. I'm very isolated. I'm very much in my bubble, you know, and it's like when I come out, I try to hurry up and go back in. It's like, okay.
You will sit in a room for about a week.
Listen, we all used to be roommates. So Simone and Bridget are sisters, for those who don't know. And we all used to live in the same house. And I'm telling you, I would be at the house sometimes, they wouldn't even know it. Because I'm just in my room, I'm not talking, and nothing's wrong. They would just peep their head in, you okay? All right. So here's Simone, all right. You know, just checking on you. But you know, it's because there are many levels to people, right? And so it's like everybody's not privy to every level. And so it's understanding that your reputation may be a bit skewed with some individuals because they only see one side of you. And then, you know, your character, of course, is more precise with people who have more access to you because they've been given the opportunity and the privilege to get to know you on another level. So what have you guys, you know, experienced with that? You know, when do you know it's okay to show people another side of you where it's like, okay, I want you to judge me by my character, not by my reputation and what you think you know about me?
I know that's kind of a difficult question because I am an introvert. And so it takes people a long time. I have like 2 friends, 2 people literally that know me, that know who I really am, that know my character. Now, when I am the prophetess, that's a whole different character.
Yeah, she's much more louder, bolder. Not louder, but bolder. And
I'm totally not myself. And I often wonder why God called me in that position. Because I'm like, I'm such an introvert. So I very seldom show people who I really am because I know people, they're not going to understand who I am. Because like you said, you'll be sitting there and looking and you'll be like, you see something? And then you want to say something? And then they get scared. I went to this one church with my niece and the pastor said, Prophetess Marilyn is here. He was like, what you come and see? He was like, what you looking for? I was like, I just came to
I'm just visit church.
I wasn't coming to see nothing. I did see some things. But I don't know, it wasn't for me to tell him. I'm just going to pray about it and keep moving. But there are so many compartments of us, especially as a woman. You know, you're different as a mother. You're different as a sister. You're different as a daughter. You know, I think all these characters, they come to, because my mom saw me totally different from what my sisters see me. Although I am the youngest, I'm really the oldest. And so they all call on me and they all want from me and they all pull on me. But with my mom, you know, I was the youngest and, you know, she treated me like the youngest. So you have to be careful what you hear people say about you because, I mean, especially when I go out with my husband, they always say, she's stuck up. He's so friendly. I don't know why he married her. I'm not like, So, I've learned, it used to bother me because I have that, I can't say them same words you say, but I have that face that make you scared, you know. And they, you know, my friend tell me that all the time. One of the two friends tell me that all the time. She's like, I can tell when something's going on. I can tell by your face. And she's like, change your face. We sit in church together. And when the pastor would say something, I'm kind of like, what are you talking about? She was like, change your face. Change your face. You know, because I have that face like, are you telling the truth? What are you talking about? You know. So you can't always accept what people say about you. Because it's whatever situation they see you in, whatever form they see you in. As a mother, yes, I would spank my kids. So some people thought I was mean because I whooped my kids. You know, as a sister, you know, some people think that I go overboard with my sisters. Like they call me in, they always call me, they're crying out, I'm there, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna take it to the store, I'm gonna try to fix it. You know, whatever's going on, I'm gonna try to fix it because it's my sister. And so, you know, people in different situations see you differently.
Hey, Mom?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think for me, you know, just, you know, we talked about how I'm very guarded. So I think for anybody to really, I don't think anybody has really seen the full me just because.
I don't think you've ever seen the full you.
I mean, whichever.
It's true.
But, you know, I think I give a little to everybody, you know, so she may think something, my mama may think something, you know, my husband may think something. To me, it is what it is. I guess I've always been, like I said, I've always been to myself and by myself. It's just, whatever you think, it's what you think. I just feel like, I mean, I enjoy me, so if you don't like me or not, and if you're not, push on. I don't care. You
know what's funny about that? What's interesting is with Simone, she is very guarded and she's not as open. And I think in her mind, she believes, you know, with her being that way, that those closest to her really can't see everything.
No, I think y'all can.
I was gonna say, which is definitely not true.
Hey, if y'all can't, good out. Work on me. Yeah, I'm like, hey, good.
You know, it's like when she does open up about stuff, it's like, we know Simone. We know that she's like, hey, I think I can admit that now. You're like, I'm glad you're there.
It's hey. look at y'all with something about me.
Something that we already peeped a long time ago. You know,
just
but
like, hey, I consider y'all some close friends then. Okay.
No, it's so true, and that she is a prime example of, you know, when I say her reputation sometimes that precedes her is so skewed, so off. You know, people think a certain way because she is so guarded, you know, because she isn't as open. you know, that people just think it's this big old shell and it's cold, and it's not. There's a lot of love there. Now, you know,
and I know I'm bad at when people are talking to me and they're trying to express stuff, and I will look at them like,
she does.
okay.
She can be, you know, non-empathetic, sympathetic, all of the above.
I've been working on that. You know, really, when somebody express something, you know, I hear how you feel.
She is working on it. She can't really take what she dish out though. And so when it comes to reputation, I know, or when it comes to character, you know, when it comes to other people seeing your character or allowing them to see your character, it's like, you know, it goes back to entitlement. You know, everyone's not entitled to see that.
Exactly.
And so you have to be okay with you have to be okay with being okay with people not knowing the fullness of you. Because that's a protective guard, right? It covers you. It wards out unnecessary warfare. It keeps people out of your business. You know,
people's intentions.
Yes, and their motives. Because everybody that say they want to be close to you have different reasons for it.
Exactly.
Some people want to be close because they want to glean from you. Some people just want to be close because you too mysterious. You know, I know it's some deeper layers to you. I know it's something there and and you're like, I mean, yeah. You know, I remember I was having this conversation with somebody a few weeks ago, and they were looking at me. They was like, "It's some hurt there," and I'm like, "It's hurting everybody." I mean, you know, it's not that deep, but okay. You know what I mean? And so it's just like sometimes people are digging because they can't figure you out. You know, they see one side of you and they want to see the other side, and it's just like you're not privy to that. You know, and you're not entitled to it. And I don't have to show you that side to prove anything to you. I don't have to prove to you that my reputation in your eyes is deceptive. If you want to believe that, God bless you. And if you want to pass that on, God bless you. The thing about it is your reputation is different everywhere you go.
Exactly.
Everywhere you go. And most of the time, you know, when you have a bad rep with somebody, is somebody who sees you in one dimension. They only see you in one side. And so unless they have experienced the fullness of you, you know, they're not able to really judge your true character. And so it's like when you encounter people like that, you know, who want to know a deeper side of you, it's like you have to question their motives. You have to pray about it. What are your real intentions? Well, especially people who are just itching to be close. You know, girl, call me sometimes. No. You know, I mean, you can call me. My phone's gonna be on Do Not Disturb. I'm probably never gonna call you back. You know, because it's like, you know, I protect my sphere.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? I protect who need to see me. Everybody don't need to see all of me, because everybody's not gonna understand all of Zanya. They're not gonna understand my character, because sometimes, like I said, I'm a jokester. I can make you laugh, and then, you know, on the other hand, I'm very serious. I can be very deep. You know, I'm very thought-provoking. You know, it's just so many levels to me, and that's why I'm always saying, you know, when I'm talking, I'm like, y'all only see a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction, because what'll happen is people see these episodes, and they're like, Pastor Z crazy, she's so funny, then you see me out in public, oh my God, Pastor Z, and I'm like, wait a minute, back up. You know what I mean? Because they know I'm claustrophobic, you know, and first of all, it puts me on guard when you get too close. I'm like, wait a minute, back away, 50 feet, love you, but it's, you know, but I'm very loving. I talk to you and things of that nature. It's not like I'm being stuck up or whatever, but I think sometimes people just think they see one side and they expect you to be like that at all times, and it's just like, no, that's just not who I am at all times. I'm sorry, Bridget.
I mean, y'all pretty much said it all. You know, but it is as in character. I do think sometimes everybody won't get to see everything about
Yeah.
you.
Exactly.
And it's just, you have to be okay with allowing them to accept that.
Yeah.
And as well as because we're constantly changing and growing and maturing,
Exactly.
there's some parts of my character that's going to change, especially
Yeah.
when you're on a spiritual growth. And sometimes in order to continue on that growth and to protect that growth where you're at, everybody don't need to know that part of that character that's in you.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people can't accept that.
Yeah.
And you'll begin to start second guessing yourself and your character and try and change into something and morph into something that has nothing to do with you.
And you know what? People will see your flaws and run with it.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
They will run with an unfinished product, and it's almost like, you know, making a meal, somebody making a meal for you, and then you taste it when it ain't even all the way baked yet, and you say they can't cook. That cornbread was watery. Da, 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 da. Did you wait on it to finish?
Right.
Did you? I mean, did it fully bake? Did you let it sit in there the entire time and let it process like it needed to, or did you taste it when it was still crummy and it had only been in the oven 5 minutes? And so it's like, don't be so quick to judge people, you know, on one experience, because it could just be they're having a moment. It could be that they're in a process of trying to grow, and so you're running with something that you just seeing with a naked eye and just labeling it. You know, basically you're stigmatizing people.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so when you have this reputation, or you take, you know, an experience with somebody, everybody's not gonna have your experience. You ever meet somebody and they're telling you, oh no, they're like this, and then you're like, no, they've been nothing but sweet to me. Every time I run into them, this, that. Well, you probably run into them every day after work. After they job done got on their nerves, they done dealt with too much, and then you all happy. Hey, honey. For instance, I'm not a morning person. Most of the people who see me in the morning, I'm not very kind. You get what I'm saying? Bridget, why you got to say it like that? I'm not kind. I don't want you speaking to me in the morning. They know when we used to stay in the same house, it was like, don't even, Bridget, you know, she's smiling, good morning.
Having her coffee and no.
I know it's bad, but I would get mad if somebody good morning me when I'm just now waking up. Good morning. I'm like, why are you even talking? But it's like, hey, I did it this morning. I did it this morning when I saw Bridget, and I had to go get them, and it was like, morning. You know, it's like I have to push through that. But what I'm saying it to say, you know, people who only see me in the morning may have, you know, I'm rude, you know, misjudge me and say she's not a nice person, she's unapproachable, she's not very talkative, and things like that. Whereas somebody, by the time I wake up in midday, I'm live, and they like, no, Sonya fun, man. She's the person to be around. She the life of the party. She this, she that. And then at night, you know, I'm more secluded because I'm a night owl. That's when I'm really thinking. I don't want to be bothered. I'm not rude, but I want you to stay over there. Don't look at me. Don't wink. Don't do anything. Let me just be chill with me and my golden girls. And be done. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to, you know, all of that put together, people would look at you sometimes and say, she's a monster. You know, they would give you these titles and these names, and you know, and label you, and then you're walking around with this big label or this mask on, and every time they see you, they see a monster. Do y'all ever feel obligated to prove that you're not?
No.
Okay, Bridget. Okay.
I really, to me, I don't. I guess because of like the things that I've been through within the last couple of years, I don't feel obligated to prove that I'm not, because you know, maybe you caught me at the wrong time,
right?
You know, and for me, and I may say, you know, I apologize if that's what you thought. That's normally not how I am, but I don't feel like now I need to turn around and be like, hey guys, good morning, it's here. That's what's me, you know. It's just like, okay, you know, it's normal, and like even for me too, even at work. You know, I had to explain to some people, hey, you know, when I'm first walking in the office, I don't do well with people asking me questions as soon as I hit the door. If y'all give me just a minute to sit down, give me an hour so I can have a coffee, sit down, check my emails, then we can talk. Because I did find myself, like as soon as I hadn't even been able to put my bag down yet, they're like, oh, and we had this and this, and I saw myself like this.
Right.
Okay. You know, and I was like, you know, that wasn't the nicest thing to do, you know, and everything else. So I had to explain to them, hey, because of this time, please don't approach me now. We can talk at 9, you know, everything else, but I just need a minute to settle in.
Right.
You know, when you're there, and I think it's more of, it may be an explanation to tell someone. It's not me saying, I need to apologize or something else, but I might need to explain to you what happened.
Right.
And just say, hey, I'm normally not a morning person, it's no offense. And then if you choose to keep talking to me at 7 a.m., and that's the response that you get, now that's on you. You know, because it is a misunderstanding. And then once we add in communication, and I can give you an explanation to say, okay, hey, this is why I feel this way, or this is how I am, it's not you. You know, it's no offense, this is just me. You know, I am an introvert. That may be the same. I'm an introvert. You know, and I don't really feel comfortable. It's not you. I do it to everybody. Right. You know, so I don't want you to feel offended.
You know what? I'm gonna tell this funny story, right? I used to work at this job in corporate America, and I usually would choose like the second shift if I could, you know, 12 to 9 or 10 to 6 or something like that. And I remember, you know, they wanted me to train someone. And I didn't know this. They had hired this girl and they were like, you're gonna be sitting with Sonia. I mean, she is such a great person, you know, she's funny, she's this, she's very knowledgeable, she's a people person, and da 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 da. And then they were like, but wait till about 1 o'clock. This is a true story. They were like, you know, we're gonna have you sit with such and such first, and then we're gonna have you sit with Sonia the rest of your shift. They were like, so if you go by her, you know, just around 1 o'clock. And so they were like, okay. Well, the next day, it's a true story, y'all. The next day, you know, people, this is how they would walk by my desk. They wouldn't say good morning or anything. You know, it was more like they'll just point because they knew how I was. It was like, I ain't woke. You know, it don't even about no coffee. It takes me just a couple of hours to wake up and look at you and be like, oh, you're a human. Hi, you know, great to see you. And so the next day, this young lady, bless her heart, she came by and she was like, are you Sonia? Yeah. She was like, they told me I'm gonna be sitting with you and da da da, and you know, they said that you're so nice and I can't wait, I'm so excited because I've been sitting with such and such this morning and they were like, you know, you're gonna love her and da 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 da. I said, what time are you supposed to sit with me? 1 o'clock. I said, come back at 1. And she was just like, and so, you know, the guy that was training her, I'm trying not to say his name because I know that, you know, we still cool. He was like, so she came over there and was like, I don't think I want to train with her. She's so rude and, you know, she's not friendly and this and the other. And he was like, did you just go over there just now? And so at the same time, the lady that hired her, they were talking. She was like, wait, what's going on? And she was like, is there a possibility that I can just stay with him today, you know, and train with him because I just met Sonia and she just wasn't very nice. And she said, I told you 1 o'clock. She said it just like that. She's like, I told you 1 o'clock. She's not a morning person, very sweet, very kind. And it was like, I had already established that. It was, I guess, reputation. And so because she was new, my reputation with her was she's rude. Whereas everybody else knew, don't talk to her, you know, before a certain time. And it wasn't that I wasn't professional. It was just that they understood. And so I didn't feel the need to try to stress that to her. You know, when she came and sat with me in the afternoon, it was like, oh, hey, how you doing? Da, 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 da. And she was like, I was kind of scared to come sit with you because, you know, this morning I was like, girl, you don't know me like that. Like, don't come to me in the morning. I roll my eyes at my manager. They just laugh. You know, we got a working relationship like that now. But it was difficult, you know, for her. And so it was like she had to relearn me. Because she had to unlearn her initial, that first impression, you know, because she had
10 times before you erase the first impression.
Is it?
I think it says 10 minutes before you get over. You start to change your thoughts. I think it says it takes at least 10 interactions before you really get a different mindset on.
Why so many?
Because the first reaction is what I feel. And you know how they say, I might forget what you say, but I know how you make me feel at that moment. So if at that moment I feel like, okay, I'm never approaching her again, and especially if I don't know you at all, I'm not coming to approach you. It may take 10 different interactions, or even, you know, it may take 15 for some people to say that, okay, she's really not like that. There really wasn't one.
Right. Yeah, and the thing about it was, she was so uncomfortable because, I'm very blunt as well. And so when she was saying, I really didn't want to sit with you, if you're okay with it, I can go sit with them. I said, you can go sit with whoever. And so it was like that added on to it.
Yes.
I'm like, because I'm not gonna sit here and go back and forth with you. I don't even know you, and you're still in your 90-day probation period. You're probably not gonna be here anyway. Which I ended up quitting that job. But I'm just saying, it's things like that people see one side and they think they have you all figured out. So me personally, then I'm going to Simone and Marilyn. I don't believe I have to prove anything to show you that I'm not who you think I am. I think when it comes to that extent of trying to prove, or you have to care about the relationship. Right. You get what I'm saying? If I do something and then y'all's, view of me begin to change, where you're just like, I don't know, I'm starting to see you a lot differently, then I'll be like, okay, well, what's the problem, Marilyn? Explain to me, how can I work on this? And I didn't mean it that way, yada, da, da. But to anybody else, thank you. To anybody else, it's like, I don't need your approval. And it's like, honestly, not to sound harsh, but it's like, I really don't care. Exactly. And it's like, but when you're in ministry, it's different, because it's like you have to be fit for the kingdom, especially when you have a pastoral role, because you can't just be like, I don't care how you look at me. Now the Zanya in me, the Z, is just like, who cares? But when you think about the pastor in me, it's like, come on, hey, good morning. Get off me. Get off me. But it's like, I guess it changes in the roles that you are in.
Exactly.
In the roles that you are in, when you're operating, it's not that you're being fake.
Right.
But it's like when I'm operating, or if I see somebody in public and they say, hey, Pastor Z, I can't be like, it's 7 o'clock. Hey, it's Simone, you got a whole lot of things. That ain't hurting you. But it's like you push past that, because you have to understand, okay, this is who I am. I don't get to take that hat off just because it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Exactly. You have to recognize you have a responsibility. No matter where you see the president, it's like you are that everywhere you go. You get what I'm saying? And so, especially with ministry, you don't get to take that hat off just so you can be yourself. You go be yourself at home. Because it's like, that's lasting damages, and that's where church hurt and stuff coming in. That's where people be like, that's why I'm cool with church people. They like this in your face, and she like this on ZMR, but in person, oh, she rude. But it's also like, give people grace. Exactly. I'm human. I may not feel like talking that day, and that's okay. I ain't going to hell for not talking to you. Bless God, amen. Do you feel the need to have to prove? Praise the Lord.
I feel like you honestly, me, no. Care what you think about me. At the end of the day, I don't know you, you don't know me. Right. So, who cares?
Right.
You don't like me, you don't like me. We don't have to be in each other's presence, whatever. But I feel like me trying to have my own business, I have to play this role of, I can socialize.
Right.
I can put my smile on, and that's the biggest thing I've had to really work on within this last year. Getting into crowds and acting like I enjoy talking to all of you guys. This is great. And I have to sit there and yes, we're in this big room with all these people, and I'm just this big smile, yes, I can talk all day long, and all I'm thinking in my head is, y'all get away from me. Let's do one at a time. And I really had to make it to where it fits for me. So if I'm with a group of people and I'm talking to them, I'll try and pull somebody one-on-one. Give me your contact information. And let's, so before, that was a struggle for me, because I would just sit back and we would have our little meetings. I'd sit back and and one of the guys I work with, he was like, you got to talk. This is how we make money.
Right.
And I was like, right. So now it's like I'm having to be this bubbly person, and really just interacting with people in a more caring way. I have to. So I say, you know, I'm having to. Don't do that. Yeah, I am. You know, because. You know, even dealing with people and talking to them and they're expressing, you know, hey, I don't like this, and it'll be a part of me be like, okay, you don't like it, what you want me to do? What you want to do? And but it's like I have to go in and change and word how I say things to where I am not offending anybody. So I would say yes and no because, you know, yes, I have to change how I am, but not be so abrasive or anything. So, but I mean, as far as do I feel the need to, like, it's something, oh my gosh, I gotta do it. I don't care. I'm just doing it because I know, hey, this is business. You do have to care about people. So yeah. At the end of the day, if it wasn't business, whatever.
And you know, it's one of those, it's that thing of to whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, you don't get to be yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not that, like I said, you're not being fake, you know, but it's like you're understanding the responsibility that comes with a call.
Yes.
You know, whether that call is ministry, whether that call is I'm a CEO, whether that call is, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, you know, some you have to get out of your comfort zone. You know, being an actress, I meet a lot of people who are actors, you know, and it's like you get on set with these people and you expect them to be a different way. And, you know, a lot of them are very secluded. A lot of them are very isolated. A lot of them are very shy. Some of them have great anxiety. And you're like, but you're this big star. You're this, you're that, you're that. And it's like, no, that's who I am, you know, in front of the camera.
That's the character I'm playing.
Yeah. Right. That's the character I'm playing. And then not only that, I understand I have fans, so you got to cater to your fans. But it's like, you know, when I'm in my personal time, let me have that, you know. And it's like, you know, I get what Simone is saying. You know, sometimes you have to go outside of yourself.
Yes. Get out your comfort zone.
Yeah, you have to get out of your comfort zone and understand, hey, right now I'm Pastor Z.
Because my biggest character I know for me is I do genuinely love helping people. Now, if I help you and you may not like the way I helped you, that's the part I'd be like, I don't care. Did you get helped? Did we get the final need?
We're praying.
That's the part that I have to work on. Like, okay, well, you may not like the way I helped you. So let's bag it up and let's talk. You know, 'cause I feel like for me, as long as we got you to that end goal and hey, you're good and you're happy with that.
Right.
Why should we care about what happened in between?
Yeah.
So
we're working on it.
yeah, we are. I think I have gone a lot. If you had a different show about 5 years ago, you'd have been like, girl, get off this stage.
You wouldn't even be on here.
I got tired saying you'd have been like, girl, get off the stage.
Never would have extended the invitation.
I know.
Ever.
Hey, and I know that.
You know, I want to say too, when you're taking on the different roles, you also take on the responsibility of saying, I'm going to change.
Right.
You know, you have to be cognitive of that change.
Yeah.
And even in growth, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's pressing us to go into a whole nother area that we wouldn't even imagine that we were in.
Right.
And really and truly, nor do we really want to be in.
Yeah.
So it's at a point, especially that I'm learning, even when it comes down to spiritual type things, of being pushed over into areas where you're like, I don't even like that. You know, but you have to say, okay, I'm going to make a conscientious decision to do it because I know the responsibility that I'm carrying.
Yeah.
And I know the effect that it'll take on other people if I don't.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where I've had to even learn with myself, though I don't like being called on all the time. And I've even seen myself get frustrated. So where I'm like, why are people calling me? And then you sit there and be like, you're the director. Oh yeah. You know, so you have to sit when you say, okay, I am, let me pick up the phone. And I've had that happen where I was frustrated because it was a long day. Email after email, call after call, and then I picked up this phone. And on the other end was somebody that was like, I'm so glad you picked up.
Right.
I can talk to you, this is this, whatever. And then I felt convicted. Because I was like, I'm over here tripping, but I accepted the title. You know, and I accepted to do this. So at this time, I have to put this character on.
And you know what's interesting about that, and then Marilyn, we're gonna go to you before we close out. What's interesting about that is so true, because I remember God had sent me on this assignment, and he was like, I have go do this work and then leave. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I don't even like the people. Mm-hmm. I don't like people, and I think it's so funny because those who are close to me. Other people, they're just like, Zion's so fun and she's so this and that. And this is why what I mean by I'm an introvert or extrovert, because I can be in a room full of people like, I don't like anybody here. And it's nothing personal. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's how I am within myself, right? And so I'm there, and I remember the Lord spoke to me and he said, I sent you here to do a job. Mm-hmm. How you going to do the job if you won't even talk to the people? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, okay. Hi, God bless you. It's like I had to push myself. Mm-hmm. And what people would deem easy for me, because they're like, Zanya, so she got all this spunk, she's so talented, it comes natural for you, you're an actress, you're this, you're that, and you're just like, I don't really like people like that. Mm-hmm. And folks who are close to me don't know that. They just see me speaking to people, and I'm out and about and this, that, and third, and I will talk, I will work a crowd and all of that. But it's like internally I'm like, okay, when is this over? Mm-hmm. And so God convicted me, just like Bridget just said. He was just like, that's not kingdom minded. Mm-hmm. Because I ain't no introvert. I never isolated. Well, Jesus did isolate himself, but you always found him amongst the people. Exactly. And when he needed to get away, he did. He would send his disciples before him, mm-hmm. and he would go get some time to pray, to allow the Holy Spirit, to allow God to replenish him and things of that nature. But I had to come out of myself in that regard, mm-hmm. Because like Bridget said, when you accept the position, when you accept the call, when you mm-hmm. accept the mantle, when you accept whatever position it is, it comes with a level of responsibility that you are agreeing upon. Mm-hmm. When you say yes, mm-hmm. you are denying yourself. Exactly. And so it's difficult because we are humans. Mm-hmm. We are humans, and so it's like you're constantly having to deny, and you're constantly being pushed out of your comfort zone. Right. And it's like you're constantly, even when you don't feel like it, I have to put on a smile. You got, mm-hmm. hey, how's it going? And then you get in the car, you're like, oh, yeah, mm-hmm. oh my gosh.
You have to rest. You have to rest.
That's very true. What you said, like mm-hmm. when you take on, one thing I've noticed for me, like ever since I said, okay, I'm gonna do this walk with God, I'm really gonna get really fed in His Word and mm-hmm. really just build this relationship. It makes you change that introvert character. Yeah. Because when you walking with God and you saying, hey, I want to have this life with God, you also want to start sharing with people. Mm-hmm. So it makes you want to get out and, okay, well, let me talk to you. Let me do this and that. And I found myself, it's easier for me to sit down and just talk with people, even people mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah. And I'm not looking at them sideways. Mm-hmm. And it's like, because, like you said, I've said, hey, I want to be committed to this. Right. So now it's like, hey, I got to do what I said, what I'm going to do. So that is, when you say that you want to do this walk, like I said, it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But if you serious about it and you really convicted to do it, you going to change it.
Yeah. Marilyn, do you ever feel like we have to prove that you're not a monster?
Yeah, because sometimes I do, because I've been called fake so much. Because I'm Marilyn, the introvert, mm-hmm. and then I'm Rose, the prophetess, the mm-hmm. preacher, the prayer warrior, who has a totally different personality than Marilyn. Mm-hmm. And then I'm Shambrika.
Dead. I'm dead.
Yeah. And then there's Shambrika that comes out sometimes. So sometimes people will say things like, girl, you're so fake. Because when I have to put on the pastoral role, mm-hmm. like you said, I got to come down. I got to come out of Shambrika. I got to come out of Maryland. And I have to be the pastor. I have to go, well, what is the problem? Well, let's pray about it.
Right.
We can pray right now. You want to pray right now? And I have literally been called fake. Quit faking. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not faking.
Right. This is real.
This is what I have to do in this role. Now, when I'm Marilyn, that's different. Mm-hmm. When I'm Shambrika, that's different. But when I'm the spiritual person I need to be, I'm the spiritual person I need to be. And sometimes I do find myself explaining to people, and I've said I'm gonna stop that because some people you've been saved a number of years. You should understand, that when I'm praying and when I'm working in that area, I have to be this way. But sometimes I do feel like I have to explain to them, let them know, no, I'm really not faking. I'm not a fake person, or I'm not. This is who I need to be right now. So
But you know what? I can relate to that, and I'm sure y'all can too, because especially when you're going through a metamorphosis. And you're changing, and God is changing you. And so when people are so accustomed to you being a certain way, and then it goes back to what Ebony said that day when she was like, we were on FaceTime, me and my friend, and she was going off about some stuff, and I was just like, okay, I hear you. And she was like, why are you being fake? And I said, I'm not being fake. I'm listening. And she was like, no, you're being condescending. I was like, I'm not. And I was like, I'm changing. And she was like, yeah, you can change, but be yourself. And I was like, I am being myself. You're looking for me to respond a different way. And I'm telling you, I'm working to not be that anymore. And so, after the push and the push and the push and the push, then it was like, okay, so now you want this person. Well, why you got an attitude? No, don't act like it's on. You got an attitude now. When I was being kind and meek and patient and listening and saying, I hear you, I understand. It was a problem. Now I'm a plum monkey, and it's like, oh, I have all the understanding in the world. And it's like, you shouldn't have to revert to what they're accustomed to in order, for them to get that I'm no longer that person no more. Like, kill that. And and that's why I'm glad that we talked about this, because sometimes you don't have to prove that you're not who they say you are. They can be, you gotta be okay with them saying you fake. Well, I mean, take it how you want it. You change. You're changing. God is working on you. He's delivering you from some things. And so, of course, when that happens, you're not going to be the same person, which means your reputation is going to change, which means even your character, because there are certain character flaws I used to have that I no longer have anymore. Because I have grown, because I have matured, because God has delivered, because God has healed. I've mended a lot of things. And then there are some character traits that I have now that I didn't have before. And not only, is that uncomfortable and I'm trying to adapt, I'm trying to get used to this new trait. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, I'm saying that because people need to understand to give people grace.
Exactly.
Give people the grace to change. They may be still trying to fill it out. I understand it used to be my character. That's not my character anymore.
And sometimes you have to change your inner circle when you're transitioning.
And it will change. You won't even have to change it. It will change for you. Because when a lot of people
look down on you, the people who are closer to you, because they've seen that old Zion.
Right.
And now you're trying to transition to that. And they'll be the main ones. Nah, that's not you. You used to fight.
Right. And egging you on, and you like, bruh, no, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's really difficult, and you're so right. You have to be around people who are encouraging the change, who are pushing you to change, who is saying, you know what, I'm proud of you. I see what you're trying to do. I see how God is working on you. You know what, I'm not going to bring this to you because I know this is going to disturb and disrupt your spirit. You know what, I'm not going to bring you around here because I understand these people see you in a certain light. And I know you're trying to protect your reputation, right now, and that's affecting your name. And your name is all you have. Period. Your name is all you have. And so it's like, sometimes no matter how much you change, your name gonna always go before you. It's like no matter how you may have an incident may have happened. I'll take Chris Brown. I ain't throwing Chris under the bus, but his situation with Rihanna. It doesn't matter how much this guy has changed. He's gonna always be affiliated with that situation because sometimes people are just unforgiving.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. He can go on to be, the most peaceful guy on the planet, help save people globally. He can change his life around, come to Christ, and do all of these amazing things for the Lord. And it'll be 50 years down the line, they'll be still talking about, so, remember that car situation with Rihanna? How do you feel about that? First of all, what are you talking about? That was so many moons ago. You know, I've grown for that person, and so people would keep you right there.
Yeah.
People would stigmatize you. They would label you. And I know, you know, we love to say your reputation precedes you, and that's true. But you know what? My dad always said, sweetheart, it doesn't matter what you used to be. If you change, keep walking out that new person. And eventually, that new person's steps is going to outweigh and it's going to leave the old reputation behind.
Right.
And before you know it, people will start to see the new you. And they may never forget the old you, but you just keep walking in the newness of who you are. And so if you are one of those people who are just like, you know what, I get what all these ladies are saying. I'm not a monster. I'm tired of people looking at me like that. I'm tired of people judging me that way. My reputation, that's not who I am. And then some people are comfortable with it. When you think what you want to think, that's my reputation. And then it's like, you know, sometimes you do have to come out of your shell a little bit. It's not that you're seeking for approval or that you're trying to prove, but because of who you are and who God is calling you to be, you can't put that face on anymore. It has to be like, you know what, I understand that you may view me this way, but the day that you saw me, that wasn't the case.
Right.
You know, or with the time period that you saw me, I was a different person. I'm not going to try to prove to you that I'm a different person. All I can do is just try to explain to you, and you can take that and run with it, or whatever. It doesn't even matter at this point. Because like I said, some people are just going to believe whatever they want to believe. And then, you know, it goes back to what we discussed earlier in the conversation. Everybody's not entitled to know your character. They're just not. They're just not. And so sometimes, you know, when people don't have enough information about you, they'll just make stuff up. And that's where reputation comes in. And so many people's reputation is tarnished because, you know, people only see you in one layer.
Right.
When you understand there are multiple layers to people. And then not only that, you know, who you're meeting is a representation. That's one side of me. Because behind that is a whole nother ball game that you can't even handle. I mean, that's the real. Some people only show you one side because you can't handle all of who they are.
Exactly.
And it's like, you know, sometimes we're looking out for you. That's the reality of it. Sometimes we looking out for you and you don't even know it. You don't even know your life is in danger. Keep us sweet and near the cross. Do you hear me? Amen?
Amen.
Amen, people of God. Do y'all have any further comments about, you know, reputation, character, protecting your name?
Oh, I just say, don't always let what you hear get to you either.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there can be some hurtful things that are out there, and then you do feel the need to say, I never did that, I didn't do that, everything else, and really and truly when you start doing that, it makes that look like that is you, you know, and you're just bitter, you know, at this point. So sometimes you allow the rumors, you allow what people have said, you allow what people have spoken, sat there, and you let your character come out.
Yeah.
So when people start to see you and meet you, they say, there's no way that can be true because I've never seen her like that. I've never seen her. Well, that's not what I have. And then you have other people that start speaking on your behalf. You don't even have to say anything because other people will say, that's not her character. That's not who she is. Those people are like that. And you know, you sit there because your character, again, that is your core. And there can be many different parts to your character, you know, that's there. And to me, it is important for you to protect your name and to protect your character. And if you sit long enough, people really will tell you what they think of you.
Yeah, and you know what? And don't take the bait. I say that all the time. Do not take the bait where you act out of character trying to prove your character. You see what I'm saying? And so many times that happens. It happens where people would get you so upset, and then they'll go, see, I told you.
That's what she do.
And you know, they're not taking into account you push and push and push and push and push and push, you know, and now you're getting this old me. And it's like that, but at the same time, you have to take responsibility. And you have to say, you know what, I'm going to end this conversation. I'm going to stop this right here because I see what you're trying to do and it's not going to work. That's not who I am anymore.
Or in the relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're dating, friends. When you're trying to grow and you feel yourself going back to that old you, cut that relationship out.
Yeah.
That is one thing I live so strongly by now. if I feel it, you pushing me, I gotta go.
Right.
Because my whole deal is you're not gonna push me back to how I used to react.
Right.
I don't want to black out on you, especially if you've never seen me black out on you.
Exactly.
I don't want to do that because I don't know how I may react to you. So before me even to get to that point, I'll cut you off. 'Cause I'm
You know what?
I'm trying to grow.
And some people can't respect the new you because they're still the old them.
Yes.
And so they refuse to grow, and it's almost like, misery loves company. So they want you to be stagnant too. Refuse that. Reject it. Cut the relationship off and go grow. Go grow. So
some people know too, if I can keep you here, then you can't leave me.
Right.
Because like I said, misery loves company.
Yeah.
So and and they know when you progress and when you grow and go off that they don't still be left behind.
And a lot of people can't stand that because it shows the frailty of who they are.
Yes.
It shows their immaturity. And sometimes that's offensive because they see I'm not growing. And so jealousy can set in, envy can set in, people get upset and they're just like, who do you think you are? I remember way back when. It's like, and you still in way back when. And I have progressed all the way over here. You still way over there, and that's why you still there. So leave people right there, the ones that refuse to grow. Either they'll grow with you, either your growth is gonna provoke them to change and grow, or either your growth is gonna intimidate them and they're gonna stay where they at. Either way, don't take the bait. Keep growing, protect your name, but do it with wisdom. And don't feel the need to always protect your character because you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. And everybody don't need access to you. And understand that your reputation sometimes has nothing to do with your character. People are going to form a reputation about you, or your reputation will precede you based on somebody else's perception of you. And so you can't allow that to get you out of whack and to get you out of character. And before you know it, all the time that you spent trying to prove somebody wrong, you're missing out on time in growing. You're missing out on time in evolving. You're missing out on time of healing, developing, all of the things that you can grow and go to the next level. You're missing it because you right here still trying to prove something to people who are stuck on believing something about you that is totally untrue. So I pray that everything that we have said tonight helps you. As I say all the time, I pray it's a conversation starter for you guys to look at your reputation, to look at your character, and to know what you need to do and the steps you need to take in order to protect your name. So ladies, thank y'all for joining me tonight for Girls Talk. Next week, we're going to be right back here. Another episode, another farther topic, and I'm going to be with my girls. And then join us next week for another episode of Girl Talk, where we keep it real, we keep it raw, and we keep it classy. So y'all have a beautiful weekend. We'll see you on Monday. See you later.
Get your mind, get your brain. And if you got your act together, we can make it happen in any kind of weather. Cause I gotta make something out of nothing. I turn it into everything, allow me to make it plain. Listen to what I say. The man in me, I've been down before, but now I'm UP. I've got the same body upgrade, mind, body, brain.